My name is Jason Weidemann. I'm an acquisitions editor at the University of Minnesota Press, and I'm pleased to have as my visitor today Paul Chaat Smith, author of Everything You Know About Indians Is Wrong, published by the University of Minnesota Press in March of 2009. Paul, thanks very much for stopping by.
I'm glad to be here, Jason.
Here at the Press, we discussed this title a lot. We had a lot of discussions with you. So what do you think the title means for readers?
I can't remember if I pitched this to you, but one title that I wanted was Chinese Democracy.
Uh-huh.
And when you guys pitched me this title, it seemed like, where did this come from? And then you explained it actually came from a sentence in the book, which I guess I missed. The way I sort of think about the title is the book as a whole. It's sort of like asking folks to hit the reset button about native discourse. I think I'll probably take credit for it from now on. It was actually my idea.
It was
your
phrase.
You guys.
It was your sentence, so you wrote it first.
You wanted some American amnesia, dreaming, whatever. And said, no,
the press wanted Chinese democracy,
yes,
and you insisted on.
It's so tacky. It's Guns N' Roses' Obsession by Jason. Just get over it already. So yeah, it was my idea.
Okay. Well, right now you work for the National Museum of the American Indian, and you've referred to what you do to me before as working in the Indian business. What do you mean by that?
There's this sort of irony about being in the Indian movement in the 70s and then working for the federal government on one level. But on another level, it isn't that different. The Indian business is talking about, this sort of political space that Indian folks in the U.S. operate in. And my first book, which I wrote with Robert Warrior, Like a Hurricane, one of the things we talked about was, I think it was Ted Means, Russell Means' brother, this image of him with a beat-up leather briefcase, going around to tribal meetings or going to Washington. There's this experience is much broader than how a lot of people think. So the Indian business for some is, maybe working for the Department of Interior or working in the tribal government. For others, it's being in the front lines of AIM. Mm-hmm. But people go back and forth with those things much more than I think a lot of people would imagine. Mm-hmm. They imagine there's this, you're a tribal government, and to some people you're a sellout versus being an activist. And people go back and forth between those positions a lot. It's not a very thick book, and people are busy now, so and there's not, the vocabulary is pretty basic. I think you would agree, Jason. It's not too many big words or anything. So it's readable and it's easy to read as well.
All right. Well, thanks very much for taking the time to talk with me.
Being able to beat Axl Rose is pretty key objective in this book.